Welcome to the Generous Business Owner Podcast, where business owners gain inspiration and encouragement to live a legacy, not just leave one. And now your hosts, Jeff Thomas, Alan Barnhart, and Jeff Rutt.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's Generous Business Owner Podcast. My name is Jeff Thomas, and we have a very special guest with us today, Shawn Nelson, who's the founder and CEO of the Lovesac Company, which is the furniture company you're thinking of for the maybe younger set, and also the author of Let Me Save You 25 Years, and who doesn't want to do that? Mistakes, Miracles, and Lessons from the Lovesac Story. So, Shawn, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Yeah, so great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's going to be fun. So, Shawn, as you know, we always try to start with just kind of the growing up story. Where did you grow up? What was the family like? Was there something entrepreneurial going on or not? What was it like in the Nelson household growing up?
Well, I grew up over my mom's ballet studio in the basement, hearing her stick tapping to the piano as she taught ballet for 40 years. My dad was a realtor, real estate broker, and they owned, a couple of divey apartments that I learned how to pull up carpet, paint walls, change water heaters at 12 years old. And kind of that was the family business. But nothing flashy, very hand to mouth, very middle class but working hard. And I learned to work hard from them. And I'm grateful for that childhood, and I'm grateful for the dance studio. In fact, it was the place where I first, after my mom retired, got to cut out fabric on the floor of that dance studio for Lovesacs that I was making in my college years, as Lovesac was kind of getting off the ground.
Oh man. Well, as soon as you said ballet, I was like, okay, man, I know you have an artist streak in you, like a strong artist streak in you. And so it sounds like maybe that came from mom, or did dad have some of that too?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was a fine artist.
Right.
My dad, less so, a businessman. But yeah, I think I'm definitely a creative person. I was definitely blessed with a lot of musical ability. My kids today all play instrument. We have a family band. I play instruments, sang and danced growing up, and now I get to design furniture as well.
That's so cool. I can't wait to get into that story. But did you have a lot of siblings, or do you?
Yeah, I had two older sisters, both kind of doing their own things, and there was 6 years between me and my closest, so I was a bit of an only child, not exactly, but kind of just the only boy, 6 years apart. My sisters were graduated and gone by the time I was, in junior high, and I was a troublemaker. My uncle called me the instigator. I think actually. I didn't connect these dots at the time, but if I'm really honest, I was very creative at thinking of dumb, stupid ways to blow things up, run things over, cause all kinds of ruckus around the neighborhood, but actually in a weird kind of twisted way, I think it really developed me creatively. I learned to think fast. I learned to think on the move. I learned to just really think completely outside of the box. Like anything is possible. Like, why not? Why not now? And that impulsiveness really got Lovesac started. Yeah, I was 18 years old, bored, 10 days out of high school, watching The Price is Right, sitting on my parents' couch above that dance studio when I had the dumb idea to make a really big beanbag, like me to the TV, big. And in that kind of impulsive way, turned off the TV, drove down to Joann's Fabrics, bought 7 yards of tan vinyl, 7 yards of black vinyl that was on the sale table, and brought it home and cut it out and started sewing it and jammed my mom's sewing machine. So my neighbor had to finish it up and put a zipper in it, but then I could begin stuffing it with beanbag beads from Michael's. Couldn't find enough. So packing peanuts, old blankets, cut up on a paper cutter, finally found my parents' camping mattresses in the basement a rolled up piece of yellow foam with a bungee cord around them, chopped those up on a paper cutter, chopped them the other way, squares. And now this sack started to fill up. 3 weeks of trying to stuff this thing, but it would fill the back of a truck. And it wasn't a beanbag at all. It was squishy like a big pillow. And everywhere we took it, I mean, it was the star of the show. People were like, "Oh my gosh, where did you get that thing?" Took it to the drive-in movies, camping, Lake Powell, to the beach, and everybody wants one. And I'm never going to make another one because it's just too
Too hard.
big of a pain.
Right.
Yeah. And 3 years later, my neighbors would convince me to finally make them one, and I needed a business so I could sell it to them. So I needed a name. So it was Love, Peace, Hate, War, Hippie Bag, Love Sack. Oh, that's cool. Paid $25 and we're ripping. And it became my side hustle through college, a little funny thing to do. Never made money. I was a waiter through college to pay my way through school. Because, the van breaks, the shredder breaks,
Right.
the need more fabric, another home show, boat show, car show, 10 by 10 booth with Bob Marley playing on a boom box, take a few orders, make them in the afternoons before I got to go wait tables after school. And it was just a side hustle. And but people loved the name, people loved the product, and some of those sacks that I made way back then are still kicking today. People will catch me and tell me, like, I still have that sack you made me back in 1999.
What
And
was the original idea? So you're sitting there watching TV. It's like, I want all my friends on this thing. Like, what was the impetus? Or did you
I don't
think
know,
of it in the
man.
back of the truck or what?
I just thought it was funny. I just
Yeah.
thought it was, and that's how I lived my life. I
Right.
had an idea and I did it.
Right.
And to this day, that's the opening Shawnism in my book. I wrote a book, right, called Let Me Save You 25 Years.
Yeah.
And it's mistakes, miracles, and lessons from the Love Sack story. I try to be really transparent and honest about the mistakes I made and how I didn't need to take 25 years had I just done things better. But I pair each one of those with a lesson, right? And lesson number one, the Shawnism, chapter one, just do something. Just do something.
Right.
Lovesack wouldn't exist if I had the idea. I had to get off the couch, go buy the fabric, cut it out, sew it up. And it's not a one-time event. I still really push myself to have a bias for action. Do it right now. Write the letter, send the email, pick up the phone, make the contact, reach out, ask the embarrassing question. Do it now.
Love
And
that.
when you run into the next roadblock, chapter two, do the next thing. I didn't know anything about workers' comp insurance. I didn't know anything about employment law. Finally, when I could afford anyone to help me, chopped the tip of his finger off. And next thing I know, I had OSHA breathing down my neck. And I learned quick what workers' comp, but I figured it out. And the book is just full of these, little lessons. And I'm really proud of it.
I love it, man. It's so true. I mean, you know, we've done, a couple of hundred of these interviews, and I think everybody, including me, it's like you may not have done it all. If you, I mean, first of all, you're never going to know everything. You're always going to have to learn something. But if you had known all the struggles, maybe it taught you, you just got to go. You just got
That's
to do
right.
stuff, and it's like perfection. Some people are perfectionists, and it's like that's the enemy of getting started, maybe, or you can't be afraid of making mistakes. How do you think about making mistakes? What's your mentality about that?
I mean, it's the title of my book, Mistakes,
Literally,
Miracles, and Lessons. Um, I they are inevitable and you cannot fear them and you can't even wish them away because from the mistakes come the big learnings, the things that matter more than even, winning financially or what have you, come from the mistakes. Every one of those lessons is rooted in some kind of mistake. And that's, I mean, and fast forward, Lovesac is headed toward $1 billion in sales. We did 700 million last year. We sell more
amazing.
sectional sofas than anyone in the United States at the high end. We're really proud of that. And we have a lot of other things coming and we can get into that, but Lovesac has grown, we're a public company listed on NASDAQ. So from these humble beginnings and all the mistakes comes something. And more importantly comes, you know, we, comes the life, comes the knowledge, comes my soul, comes my fortitude, comes everything that frankly, I'm terrified my kids won't have if I deprive them of the opportunity to go through what I went through myself, which is, why I don't buy my kids a car, why I don't, you know, I do probably too much already for my kids, but it's really crazy, man. Like, I know that on this podcast you talk a lot about wealth and where it goes and gifting and all those things. And I'm not even at the point where I can do that because all my chips are on the table. I'm not asking people to risk their life and their career coming from maybe Walmart or Nike to come be an executive here because I need those kind of talent, unless I'm in it all the way
All
as
in.
well. So all my money's in Lovesac stock, just
Yeah.
like theirs.
Yeah.
And I'm not even in a place where I can write big checks like that. And Lovesac isn't either. We're in the hunt. We're a case study. We are a living, breathing entity. On the other hand, you can't hang love over your door and not give back. And so
Mm.
whether we're talking about the corporate side, whether we're talking about the personal side, there's all kinds of connections that can be made and exercised upon even while we're in the hunt simultaneously.
I think that's so important. I love that. You can't hang love over the door and and not give back. And so it's like I love that principle though, because everybody's in a different place,
Yeah.
in on the journey, And I think what you said is so critical because I think there are a bunch of people listening to this that are in the same boat. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm not anywhere close to an exit. Like, maybe I'll do the giving or think about generosity, when I sell the thing or whatever. But I think I like what you said about thinking about what you can do. Okay, maybe it's not all financial with your personal balance sheet. I get it that that's tied up, but the way you treat your employees, the way you treat your customer, what things can you do in the community? You know what I mean? Like
Oh
with
yeah.
what is available, there's a
Yep.
lot of forms of generosity. So maybe how do you unpack that in some of those pieces?
I have a lot to say about that.
Good.
Um, let's start, with my book and podcast. I invest an inordinate amount of time, even this podcast,
Yes.
to make myself available to try to share with no, I don't know, promise of return.
Right.
Uh, when I got started, man, we were bootstrapping. That's what we were doing.
Yes.
It was 1998. I don't think the word bootstrapping existed.
I think you're right.
I'm not kidding.
I know. I think you're right.
And people thought we were nuts because obviously, look, we weren't the first entrepreneurs in the world, but at that day and age, it was a different day. And running around on campus, making big bean bags, wearing t-shirts and logos, nobody was doing that.
No. There
And
was
we
no
didn't
Shark
have,
Tank. There was no
there was no
Shark. You know
Shark
what I
Tank.
mean?
There was no Apprentice. We didn't have
Right.
podcasts. We didn't have, I mean, we had business classes. I was taking accounting and it was useful. But like the wealth of free and high level. I mean, on my podcast, I interview Mark Cuban, Gary Vaynerchuk, John Mackey, founder of Whole Foods, Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. These are friends
Yeah.
of mine. These are friends of the brand. We mess with the biggest celebrities, Mr. Beast. I could go down the list because Lovesac has been the portal to that. And now I get to pump them for information to help others not make the same mistakes that I'm very
Yes.
transparent about in my book. And so the
Yes.
podcast, Let Me Save You 25 Years, is a huge investment of time and energy. And will it lead back to Lovesac and maybe endear people to me or the brand and maybe they'll buy my product? Sure. I would love that to happen. And by the way, it is happening, but I can't make that the sole motivation or it's
Correct.
impure and it's inauthentic. So I put it out there with no thought of remuneration because I think it's a good thing to do. I love my own employees to hear what I have to say if they want to listen and opt in and hear my Shawnisms and hear what and really know me. I'm very transparent. I live on social media. I'm on, we carve it all up, of course, into clips like one does on Instagram, but more so I share my family. I share what I'm doing. I share where I'm at on a daily basis. And it promotes a lot of trust with my customers, with my employees, which then makes them feel good about taking a vacation because they see me on a vacation. And they
Exactly.
should because this is their
Yeah.
life happening to them. And one of my Shaunisms play along the way. So I'm sharing, I'm giving in that way. And you could say, well, that doesn't cost a lot. The production of that podcast, my
Yes.
time and energy, I could be doing lots of other things. Maybe
Yes.
it's squandered. Maybe I should be focused, Sean, on better things. You're a public company CEO, but at the same time, keeps me in touch. People, customers, employees slide into my DMs on Instagram every day. it's my thumbs responding to them. I know what's going on the front lines. I know what problems they're having with the product, all because of this kind of virtuous circle of generating this content, putting myself out there, making myself very vulnerable, probably leaves me more open to attack. As a CEO, as an executive, you know who I am, you know where I am, you know what I'm saying, you know what I believe, like it or hate it. You know, if I believe in God, you know my religion, you know what I'm up to. But I believe in these basic principles that you could roll up into the word love.
Mm,
And if I'm going to hang it above my door or wear it on my chest, I'm going to try my best to be honest and true to that and build a company that's true to that. And that leads me to conscious capitalism, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, that's an organization I've been deeply involved with. And it's a way to be around other leaders who also think in a conscious way the things you were just touching on, the things you were
yeah,
saying. Most, I think, good, however you want to hear that word,
right.
leaders in business, it's intuitive for them not to subscribe just to Milton Friedman, that the corporation exists to benefit the shareholders, period.
Right. Right.
No one believes that actually. And
It's kind of
it is taught in
ridiculous.
school. But hold on, actually, let me take that back.
Yeah,
People do believe that. I know
you do.
plenty of people in the private equity
Yeah,
world and other worlds where that is actually they'll say all kinds of things and they'll sprinkle it with all kinds of flourishes to make it sound good. But I'll tell you, there are people who do believe in that. But most founders, most leaders in business don't believe that. They are conscious capitalists by instinct. And I believe that even that organization, even that ethos coined by John Mackey, founder of Whole Foods, is
yeah.
in a renaissance right now because it needs to find a way to be expressed and understood that's scalable. Because it is useful to subscribe to, and lest we just become subject to the whims and forces that might try to have us invest our time, energy, or money in myriad ways. And so, yeah, we can unpack that.
I love that. I mean, it's so aligned with what we're trying to do. I mean, the whole point of this podcast for me is this is a passion project like you, and so I just want people to think like you do. That the platform for business is more than what you just said, more than just
Way
for the
more.
shareholders.
It's the
Hey, I hope
greatest
everybody
force on
makes a
earth.
bunch of money. Okay.
There is no force on earth that has generated more positive outcomes than business. Now, negative
Exactly.
outcomes as well,
Sure.
but positive as well.
But I mean, it's brought more people out of poverty. But you know what I mean? I mean, so
No
there's
doubt.
all of these things in your platform you can use. And so I just want people to think like that. If they want to use Arcos as a multifamily, I'm thrilled. But I know a minority of them will. It's okay, right? But we just do the right thing and the right thing happens. So I want to go back though. Your story is so fascinating, and I'm such a financial nerd. I love being around creative people like you. Like you fire a different part of my brain. So for my other number nerd people, I just I want them to hear a little more of this story, and maybe you can sprinkle these business principles in with it a little bit because
Sure.
you've got a super like I'm like an accounting nerd who went to public accounting and then wealth management and Wall Street firms, and that's I'm bored even saying that. Okay, yours
Hmm.
is way more exciting. Going to Parsons, and you've got this design brain. Can you kind of we don't have to spend the whole time, but can you kind of take us through a little bit of the the life cycle
Yeah.
of Love Site? You did the beginning, but like, how
Yeah.
did you get from having one in the back of your truck? And I know we did a few in college, but it wasn't very profitable. How do you get from there to where you are now? Maybe a few stops along the road and maybe a few challenges, if you don't mind sharing those.
Sure. We've had every challenge. We've had the worst kind of challenges. Lovesac, it began as this side hustle in college, as I described. We emerged at graduation ready to take real jobs and go do,
Right.
something else because this never made us any money. But people who owned it, we were like, no, you can't
They
close
loved it.
Lovesac. I love my Lovesac. What
Yeah.
the heck? So we gave it one last shot. We took it to a trade show in Chicago to try to get attention from, companies that may buy 50 at a time or 100 at a time instead of one.
And were you selling it like you mentioned earlier, like transportation? I mean, what kind of was it a furniture show? Was it a like
Oh, I mean, in the early days, it was literally like 10 by 10 booths at any,
any place you
festival,
could get one?
carnival, we could get one. And then
Right,
we would make them in our, basement. And we were delivering them in a 1979 Dodge van with
right.
Lovesac spray painted on the side for real. And all the photographs are in my book. Let me save you 25 years. It's a picture book. It's
Fantastic.
a coffee table book. It's really gritty. It's different than any business book you've ever read.
Yeah, love it.
It's one you want to give to your 18-year-old kid or your 22-year-old kid or your 26-year-old kid
Ah, oh, that's good.
because it makes it so real. Like if this idiot could do it, like even your idea could work. Um, but
You go to the trade show in
we go to
Chicago.
this,
Did you get some orders?
we got no orders, and I was now 15 grand in credit card debt, and I was embarrassed, but at least I knew. Now I could like close it down.
Okay, yeah, it
Now I
didn't work. I gave
tried,
it the last shot.
and I'm down there shredding foam on our little. It's kind of like a wood chipper. Think of that in the back room of this furniture factory that let us use their wood chipper foam shredder thing because they thought we were funny. And my phone rings and it's an out of state number. And so this is 2001. And so it might be from the trade show. So I turn off the shredder. I brush all the foam out of my hair. I'm stuffing a love sack. And I
Good.
said, Love Sack Corporation. And it is the executives from the Limited Corporation, biggest retailer in the United States at the time. This is Bath and Body Works, Victoria's
Yep,
Secret,
yep.
Limited brands. Their Limited 2 stores wanted 12,000 little love sacks for Christmas. They need them in this fabric for
What?
this price. 5 months from now, they FedEx me a piece of this blue fuzzy fabric with little silver specks in it. I said, no problem. We're the biggest beanbag company, not beanbag company in the world. We'll get back to you. And I flew off to North Carolina to find this fabric at High Point, found it. It was way too expensive. I said, do you have, you know, can I get any cheaper? He said, look, I'm a direct importer. You're out of luck. I'm looking around this guy's booth. And as you read in my bio, I speak Mandarin Chinese. I had taken
Oh,
2 years
right.
off in there to go serve a mission for my church. I learned Mandarin Chinese in Taiwan as a, Mormon missionary.
Yep.
And I came back totally fluent. And I'm looking around this guy's booth. He's got these sample boxes of fabric behind him, and there's Chinese writing on the boxes. And I can read it. And it's the address of the fabric mill that makes this fabric. And so I can't quit now. I get on a plane, credit card my way to Shanghai, China, walk in the
Right.
32nd floor of this downtown office building, sales office for this fabric mill in Shanghai. I said, hi in English. In English, I said, I'm Shawn. I'm here for the Limited. I need 30,000 yards of this fabric. They said, their English speaking sales staff said, no problem. It's $5 a yard. I said, no, no, no. I need it for half that. And then they start talking amongst themselves in Chinese
Right.
about how much it costs to make this fabric. Because I'm just a white guy.
Yep.
And I knew everything they
What they
were
were
saying. And
saying.
I
Yep.
knew they could hit my price. So I sat there for 3 days and negotiated.
So
450,
good.
$4, 350, three. Okay,
So
okay, we'll do the
good.
deal. We'll make no money. We just want to have a customer in the United States. They said, we just need a $65,000 deposit to get started on your order. And I said, no problem. And I went back to my hotel and I called a Limited Corporation in Ohio. And I said, hey, I'm here at my factory in China. I'm ready to build your order. I just need a $65,000 deposit to start. And they said, well, no, we're the Limited. We don't give deposits. I said, what's wrong with you? We're Lovesac. We've never done a deal without a deposit. They wire me $65,000 to my University of Utah credit union account because that's all I had. I wire it to China. I'm committed. I've spent their money now. Fly
Right.
back home, credit card my way to build a little factory in this old warehouse, cash advance the first month's rent to stuff 12,000 little love sacks by hand using these little shredders. I drove out to farm country to buy more shredders. I said, do you have anything bigger? They showed me this hay grinder powered by a tractor, 8 foot tall shredder. I threw a bag of foam in there, jammed it up, but we fixed it, we changed it, we modified it. I got an agricultural loan from the United States government for farm equipment, brought it down to the factory in downtown Salt Lake. I'm now can shred tons, literally tons of foam, stuff by hand into sacks, but it's powered by a tractor. blowing smoke outside. And so we had a
Fantastic.
tractor powered factory for 5 years, and that got us off the ground. We completed that order. We made no money. 9/11 happened. Price of freight went up. Price of foam went up. Our profits went out the window. I collected $250,000 at 23 years old, having just graduated college. Didn't make a dime. I've got
Wow.
20 people who want to keep working. We go to the big furniture stores. They laugh at us, tell us it's stupid. These are Warren Buffett's furniture stores around the West, the biggest in
Yep.
the nation. They're
Yep.
like, your name is stupid. The product's stupid. No one wants $1,000 beanbag. We said we can shrink them down to 1/8 their original size, which allowed us to ship them. Having been rejected by all of them, we went to my cousin said, let's open our own store. We went to the shopping malls. They laughed at us. They said, we've got Abercrombie and Fitch. We've got Pottery Barn. Like, what is Lovesac? But one called us back, having rejected us, said, look, okay, we'll let you in. Just don't make us look bad. Just for Christmas. And then, after that, we'll get a real tenant. They just want to fill some spaces. We maxed out my cousin's credit cards, neon sign, carpet, paint, made it look real, cranked the music, played the movies, put the sax in front of a sofa to look pretty, hoping people just wouldn't laugh at us. No one's seen a giant beanbag store before. We did 6 figures in the first few weeks. We've never seen money like that. We're paying ourselves finally. The work in the mall, we're ripping. Take the money out of the drawer, drive to California, open a second store, start franchising. One thing leads to another. We're at 30, 40 stores. I get recruited to be on Richard Branson's reality TV show on Fox Network. I win $1 million with Richard Branson on Fox. Prime time. It's like his answer to The Apprentice. I won. I was made president of Virgin Worldwide. He invested in Lovesac. It helped me raise venture capital. The venture capitalist's first idea, we're now 2004 or 5. They want to bankrupt my company. They want to take me through a chapter 11. They want to get out of franchising. They want to close down our bad locations that we signed at 22, 23 years old. And it was humiliating. I was a bit of a celebrity. I was local celebrity for sure in Utah. I was, the business was at 20 million. They took me through a chapter 11. I lost my equity. It was terrifying, humiliating, embarrassing. I wanted to quit. I thought about it, should have. But we had just invented Sactionals, the couch version of, the washable, changeable, movable, solves all the problems with couches, internetable, shippable sofas. I knew we had something, so we survived. We made it through that. I mean, I can write a book about that. It's in
Oh,
the book. And all of the pain that comes from, tearing apart while you're trying to run a business and keep everybody happy and laying off all your friends. I mean, it's just like, it is a washing machine of emotions, of difficulty, of financial pain of the worst kind, media pain, humiliation on the other side of it. Moved the company to Connecticut, 3,000 miles from home, no family, just my wife, who came along for the ride, willing to stick with it with me. Start over with 12 good locations and 12 people at the head office, and grew it over many years, figuring out Sactionals along the way to 60 locations. Took it public again in 2018 at 100 million. 7 exits since then, through some of the craziest times, COVID, everything else.
mhm.
Having figured out how to advertise and sell really complex, really cool couches on TV, on the internet. And here we are today as one of the fastest growing furniture retailers in the United States, top 20 biggest. We sell 2 products, and we'll grow to the top 10, top 5. Our ultimate goal to build the most loved brand in America, and purpose to inspire humankind to buy better stuff like our stuff so they can buy less stuff. Because this couch I'm sitting on right now, this armchair made of Sactionals, is 18 years old. It's on its 10th set of covers. It's older than my children. It's mated with brand new pieces. It's mated with all the coolest tech that we allow you to add onto your Sactionals, living up to this purpose that we call designed for life, stuff that can actually be with you the rest of your life if you want it to, because it was built to last and can evolve. So all of that, the most sustainable brand around, the coolest solution for sustainability, stuff that actually sustains, scaling toward 1 billion and beyond, with a shot at being a mega brand, a Nike, an Apple. I believe that. And if it takes another 25 years, I'll do it. That's the thing. When I finally got this far, and you make this mental decision, like, it's not about an exit. I've already gone public. I could sell my stock tomorrow. I could
Right.
make more money personally by selling my stock, starting it over from scratch with a company I own 100% of, scaling
Exactly.
that because I know how to raise venture capital. I know how to
Exactly.
raise private equity. I know how to take a company public. That's how I get mega rich.
Right.
But isn't it more interesting to see if I can't take this crazy little beanbag company called Lovesac, turn it into a Nike, a Lulu, an Apple, because we are so committed to this philosophy. We are so truth telling. Where these guys, the biggest company in the world, will without blinking sell you the same flipping product every year, every 2 years, and con you into buying it because you kind of have to. And we already know, all of us know, it's not, they're not even hiding it anymore. This is planned obsolescence at its
Yeah.
most brutal form.
Yeah.
And they were never forced to innovate into other categories because they'll just keep selling us the same stupid thing. And yeah, they do brilliant things and it's a brilliant invention, but they should have been forced by consumers who reject that notion. Lovesac is the antithesis. We want you to have these couch pieces for the rest of your mortal life. We want you to pass them on to your kids. We'll give you the opportunity to upgrade them, replace the cushions, replace the covers, change everything. So once I made the decision, like, you know what? I don't care if it takes another 25 years. I'm going to turn this into a Nike. I'm going to turn this into a brand you can believe in because we're going to tell you the truth. And it means I can't scale to the scale of Apple because I refuse to operate that way. But I'll get pretty effing big. I will grow this into the billions and there will be fewer couches sold on earth because I messed with couches and other things too, because I'm committed to this ethos and I'm so outspoken about it that if you are a Lovesac customer and you know this about us, we can't do it to you. We have to do it right. We can never discontinue this line. We don't even discontinue our fabrics. We may take them off our core line, but we'll put them on the custom order line. So you can come back in 8 years and be like, look, I know I should just buy another cover set, but my covers actually look okay. My kid destroyed this one. Can I just get one cover for one piece? What do you think the answer is? Absolutely. Because
Right.
we just want what's best for you. Now, what's the ramification? I will be forced to innovate into other categories. Because we can't ever grow big enough just in couches. We'll get pretty big. And we will become what Apple won't because they refused to do it the right way, the design for life way. Heck, you and I could both imagine what a design for life mobile phone would look like. You know, camera pops out, new one goes in, battery comes out, new one goes in. They'll never do it. They will not do it. That would be eating their own tail. Where I'm telling you, that's exactly, if given long enough on the earth, I'll do that too. We probably won't even have, we'll probably have an implant or something by then, Jeff.
Right.
But given long enough, I want to have the brand that's so trusted because we never lied to you. And I think that'll be a very valuable brand. I think it'll be into the billions. I think I'll be worth plenty of money. And I'm friends with billionaires and millionaires, bro. I have plenty of billionaire, millionaire, 100 millionaire friends who would honestly, I think, trade places with me to be doing something that matters, to be
Yeah.
doing something that like really can change the way people think about everything they buy, even though it started with a couch. And to be on my first wife, to have kids that know me and love me because I hang out with them, because I preach it even to my own employees, and I want them to do the same. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Your scorecard is different. Your
And maybe someday
scorecard.
I can write some big checks. And we do write checks and we
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
sponsor things and we do whatever. We donate a lot of products. From school auctions to this or that, we try to say yes. We try and be there. We try and, be accessible. But we're in the hunt. We're building something that matters. And that to me, think about it, man. Like if what I'm doing gets to the point where people genuinely, if there are fewer couches sold on earth, I mean thousands of fewer, millions of fewer couches sold because of our innovation, that's meaningful. And more importantly, if you change your mind about how you buy stuff because of your interaction with this obscure couch that you found in the mall, and now you're thinking differently about it. Like now you're looking at your phone sideways, like this is what the crap. And you start thinking differently about everything you buy and you start buying better stuff. So you ultimately buy less stuff. That's us living up to our name, living up to an ethos and trying to give back.
Man, it's just where do you think you got this just relentless. I know I love that you share the pain because I think it's nobody's up and to the right without a setback. And I love the transparency of that. What do you think the key to getting through that is? What mental
Yeah.
state have you had to develop that you might be able to share with other people? I think, to get through those tough times.
Number one, I think entrepreneurs are born with a certain amount of ability to endure uncertainty.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's talked about. It's so obscure and weird that it's hard to put your finger on. But
Yeah, it
people
is.
would rather know they have cancer than wait 3 weeks for the test results.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
uncertainty, debt, unknownness. That's why this tariff thing is driving everyone crazy right now, right? Because there's just too much uncertainty involved. You can see it driving the world mad. But entrepreneurs can thrive in it. They can live in it.
right.
They can endure it. And so you have to not only embrace uncertainty, but develop the capacity to thrive in it, to roll with it. I liken it to surfing. If you're a surfer, surfing's terrifying. I mean, you're out there and a wave comes along and you're in the wrong spot. And dude, you get pushed under and you don't know if you're going to make it up. You don't know which way is up. You can't swim. You can't see. So, and if you panic, you will take a breath too soon and inhale a bunch of water, and that can lead to bad situations. So, what do you have to do? Take the wave to the face. Hopefully, you got a breath, even if you didn't, and just roll with it. Just roll. Stay calm. You're getting thrown on the bottom. You're because if you panic, you're going to use too much oxygen. So, you just roll. You
I
relax
love it. I love it.
as the
Roll with
world
it,
is
surf it,
swirling and boiling around you.
embrace it and use it. Use the energy,
That's right.
for a
That's
positive
right.
outcome, and I think you said something else is super critical. This thing about family and on your first wife. I think there's a fallacy out there that we all as entrepreneurs got to work 120 hours, you know. There's no way to do it in a 40-hour week or anything like that. How do you speak to that
Not a
mindset?
fallacy. You do at times,
Okay.
but it cannot be forever. And you have to find ways to escape it. And there are times now in my life where I'm working like that. And I'm platinum on Delta, going on 2 million miles. I'm simultaneously 1K on United, going on 1 million miles, and every other airline. Because in my world, I've had to go to Asia 90 times. I flew to China 70 times in coach, because I'm asking my people to do the same. 70 times, man, into my 30s and 40s. And and this persists. And I got showrooms in every state. Okay. So now I don't, I don't, I'm not always traveling like that. I travel less than I used to by far. I'm not always working like that. I have weeks that are crazy and I have months that are not. But I put myself in a position where that's true. And I have people around me that can carry that weight. I have people from the biggest companies in the world who want to be here, not just because of me and my influence, but especially because of this philosophy that I've wrapped the company around that means something.
Sure. It's the
It means a
culture at
lot
the end
more
of the
than
day.
like, let's sell more beanbags this year than
Right.
last
I know.
year,
Right. Yeah.
And so you have to seek that higher purpose that motivates some people. And it doesn't have, look, you're in the waste removal business or who knows what. Like some
Right.
businesses are just not, but there's still some way to wrap it around something more meaningful, even if it's just the programs for your employees. Like we're going to employ 8,000 people. Let's try to employ 9,000.
Exactly.
Where everyone
And
else
treat
is
them
trying to
well.
get robots, let's make, you could make a purpose in any business that means something more than the medium of that business. Crassly, I make bean bags. I make couches. Who cares? But if you paid attention to what I'm describing, it's a lot more than that actually under the surface. And
Every business
not
is. And
it's
you can
not
make
lip
every
service.
business that. Exactly
That's right.
right.
Well, the ones that sustain anyway.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, this has been such a rich discussion, and I hope people are going to get the book and read the lessons. I just love the way you live life with an open hand to try to help somebody behind you. So you're really the perfect person to ask this last question that we always ask, which is, a practical tip for somebody behind you. I mean, we've already talked about a bunch of them, but is there one like final thing that's coming in mind, maybe from our discussion or something new that just popped into your brain? Somebody's behind us.
Yep.
Maybe they're struggling a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this thing's going to make it, or maybe they're just starting to make it. But what's it all about? What's a practical tip, man?
Look, I got 25 of them.
All
Read the
right.
book. Let me save you 25 years. Listen to the podcast. I explore these topics with the smartest people in the world on Let Me Save You 25 Years, the podcast. And we just dive in. We don't get their story. We go right into one of these Shawnisms, but right from the book, practical Shawnism from the book, that applies to this realm specifically, actually. Say yes first. People come along, like I just filled out here I am. I'm a public company CEO, right? I'm the quintessential, the man. I'm too busy for everyone. I got more important things to do. I got boards of directors and
Exactly.
whatever. And my people locally, or where I'm from in Salt Lake, they don't necessarily know that. They just know me because they grew up with me. And my friend's daughter, who I went to high school with, sent me her little thing. Can you sponsor my dance team? And by the way, I don't even have the headspace to bother my company with it because we're a public company and whatever.
Yep.
So I write a personal check and I put it in an envelope and I fill out a little form and it says it's from Lovesac, but it's really just from me. Just say yes. Doesn't even have to be big. You don't have to write giant checks. Give away Lovesac's for auctions here and there. We can't write giant checks. Like I said, we're investing every dollar into innovation still. There'll come a point where that maybe there are some, but you can always be giving. You can always be participating, and don't think it doesn't matter. I honestly think some of these local auctions and whatever we, do sometimes matters more than the fact, by the way, we recycle hundreds of millions of plastic bottles into fabric on our products. Super proud of that. You won't hear us talk about that a lot, because that's not even the point of the sustainability we're talking about. If you've listened to my rant on sustainability, right? But just say yes, try to be involved, try and play along the way. As I've said, try and give along the way. Even if it's not, for a building on campus.
Yeah, I love it. Play along the way and give along the way. Those alone will go a long way. So, Shawn, thanks so much for being with us and sharing your story and I just love the transparency, and it's going to help a lot of people. So thanks so much for being with us.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
And thanks everybody for joining us. Subscribe and share it with a friend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Generous Business Owner Podcast with Jeff Thomas, Alan Barnhart, and Jeff Rutt. Make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can find the guest contact information in the show notes. Stay tuned for the next episode.